We already modified some dynamics in legato strokes by changing the height that we were dropping from. And you may have noticed in marcato strokes that getting the same tone as you changed your sticking sometimes meant playing at different heights. It's now time to learn the rules for how all of this actually works. Note speed in the hand, or the rhythm that you're playing, is going to change the energy of your stroke. And we know this from our kinetic energy equation, 1/2 mass times velocity squared. As you change the speed at which the hands have to return to the surface, you're making huge changes in the amount of energy of those strokes. So for example, when you're playing all the rights in a row, your right hand is going twice as fast as when you're alternating. So you'll notice if I just isolate the right hand, changes as soon as that rhythm changes, because I'm just covering a little more ground and it takes a lot more time to get back to the surface. You could make the argument that you just want to freeze in location. But that start and stop kind of motion has a tendency to be really jerky, and it results in you using greater stroke speed all of a sudden as you sort of jolt at the head. Using that smoother gesture that is continuously moving and just covering more distance is almost always preferable. Besides that, there's just a general rule that giving instructions like, I need this to sound like this, or do this instead of this, or I want this kind of sound, is almost always going to be better than trying to lock in a mechanical position and do something from there. The order that you give the instruction in really matters. Saying, I want this sound, and allowing the machine to just do what it needs to do from the ear's instructions is a lot better than saying, I need you to sit in this position and then try to make a sound from there. The second big thing to think about is that your stroke speed or your articulation, like legato or marcato, is also going to change the energy. So if I'm playing from a single height and I'm releasing legato strokes, if I push from that same height, faster because I'm trying to punch through material, the felt material on the head towards the core. I'm going to get a brighter character, and with that brighter character, the volume is going to go up. There is a third stroke as well, a quick snap from the wrist with loose fingers, which is the staccato stroke, and that's an even sharper sound. Legato, marcato, and then staccato. From the same height, you can hear how the strokes obviously get louder in addition to their change in color. Play pom 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 from a single height, just like I did, first in legato strokes, then pushing marcato strokes. And just notice that change in volume. Then do it again and give the instruction, all these notes have to have the same loudness. You're going to notice that the marcato strokes have to come from lower in order to match the volume of the legato strokes. Depending on the mallet, you may be able to perceive that although the loudness of those strokes is the same, the articulation of them actually is different. Now I have microphones here that are very close to the drums, so that may not be super obvious at the distance that I'm recording from, but as you get to about 20 feet away, the distance that the average orchestra conductor or audience member is going to be beyond, these differences become far more obvious over that distance. Now there's a question of how do you apply this to your practice? Well, any piece of timpani music or etude or little exercise that you have, you can modify these stroke types for the speed or the height of them. Typically, when I have a set of exercises that I'm working through, I have at least 3 versions where I'm changing the dynamics up and down, or I'm changing my articulation and my stroke speeds for them. I expect myself to be able to play through and make those modifications with consistency, so that if I give an instruction from my ear, it's got to be like this, that's what's going to come out of the drums. This is very applicable to playing in an ensemble, because the context of the sound of the group is going to require you to add or remove articulation or to modify your dynamics up and down to fit the blend. And as we've just shown, that is going to have massive implications to the amount of energy going into the drums. Remember that stroke speed is your articulation and stroke height is your loudness. If you make a change to one, you almost always have to make a change to the other. The only way to navigate that level of nuance is to give listening instructions from the ear and allow your hands to follow those instructions through. Any exercise you do on timpani should first and foremost be about helping you calibrate for that.